guys, this is Comic Uno and Comic Frontline, and today I am doing Comic Uno episode 53, and this is a show where I review all the comics I read this week in one show. There are not a lot of comics that came out this week, only 9 for me at least, so very few comics. And also there is an update about next week's Comic Uno episode, so be sure to watch my important update video, which will be annotated on this video. But let's get started. So let's go to worst pick of the week to best pick of the week, and again there's only 9 comics, 1 digital. And my digital comic is actually the worst, and that's Powerpuff Girls issue 10, which is actually a pretty good series. I've been complimenting it, been giving it positive reviews, because it's a fun series that really started to have the same tone as the regular TV show, and it's much better than that reboot that we're probably going to get a TV show of. So it's fun to get new stories of Powerpuff Girls, but have the same tone. What I didn't like about this, I thought it was a little silly, and I didn't really love the last issue either because it's the same story arc, and it's about the girls going to a concert, and one of the villains turns everyone into hippies in this issue, and the Rowdy Rough Boys go against the guy who turns everyone to hippies, and it's all about music, and their favorite boy band, which is like NSYNC / Backstreet Boys / One Direction, are actually aliens who become this big monster to defeat the guy who's changing all this music, and that's it. That's the story. I thought it was a little weird, a little silly. Again, the whole boy band thing. I guess it modernized stuff. I think kids will really like this issue because, again, it's a modern twist, which I like about this Powerpuff Girls series. But for me, as a Powerpuff Girls fan, I didn't care for it. I think this is definitely going to be more for kids than the adults, which usually the series is more for both fans. People that don't really know the show, kids that are getting into the show, that made the parents show them reruns, and people that are already seen the show when it came out. So this one was a little bit more targeted for kids. I gave this 2.5 for my liking, but maybe your kids will like it. Again, it is very kid-friendly, especially if your kid likes One Direction. So yeah, I'm going to give that 2.5. That was my worst pick of the week, and that was number 9. Number 8 is Batman Eternal, issue, 11? This actually wasn't even bad, but it was weird. Another weird issue. Why was it weird? First, I'm going to go with art. The art style definitely does not fit this issue. It doesn't. I thought it made it a little wacky. I didn't like the art style. I think this series needs to get more consistent, and it just hasn't. So, art style, 1 cross out for this issue. Second cross out was Batgirl story. Batgirl story was weird. Even though the other stories, which I'll get to, honestly weren't that bad, but Batgirl story, getting back to it, is her trying to chase this actor, this Brazilian actor, soap opera actor, who's at the train station when all this was happening with James Gordon, and she thinks he's a suspect. So, and also there's this other villain, coincidence, trying to chase him, who's like his biggest fan. Batgirl's trying to defeat her at the same time. It was weird. Why the hell is she in Brazil? Why the hell was it a Brazilian soap actor who she had to get? I don't understand it at all. It was weird, it was silly, and the art made it even sillier. That was weird. It really brought down the issue for me. But the other stories were actually okay. Not saying they were perfect, but they were okay. They were semi-interesting. Catwoman's story, we still don't really know if she's the daughter of Falcone. Pre-New 52 she was. They kind of reference it here. I still don't know if he is, but they reference her father. So that was a little confusing to me. A good part was actually Alfred and his daughter. I thought they had some good interactions here. The daughter saying, you were never here, you're a butler, and you could be the savior of the world. What happened to you? So is he going to tell her that Bruce is Batman? I feel like it's coming, but it's not coming now. And I think Bruce would tell her more than Alfred. So that happens. I thought that was an interesting story. Stephanie, at least we get more pages with her, but not a lot is progressing with her story, which is a shame. We're getting the same Clue Master stuff that we know, so let's progress her story a little. But at least we get a little connection between her and Batman. Previous connection was with her, Tim Drake, connecting her to Batman. Now it's another connection. So I like that. That progressed her story a little bit. And that's it. That's really going on in this issue. Yeah, so I said there's a lot of weird stuff. The art really did not fit this issue, but there's some better story than last issue that kept me intrigued. So I'm going to give it 3 stars because of the other stories, but it's definitely not the best issue out there, and I really hope it could improve to get out of this 3-star range and lower. 3 stars usually means in between pick it up or don't pick it up. So we'll see what happens. Alright, so number 7 is Future's End issue. This is always back to back and like the worst picks. Future's End issue 7. Another issue which I thought improved a little with the story. At least we got some interesting story, but the point is that it always abruptly ends because there's maybe like 2 or maybe 4 pages of each story because there's about 7 stories in one issue. Why don't you tell us 3 stories and then maybe save Lois Lane for 2 issues from now? There's just too much going on, and once I get into a groove in one of the stories, it ends. And I'm like, oh, now we're moving on to a story I really don't care about. So, with Frankenstein, I thought Frankenstein's story has been improving with the Black Adam, Phantom Zone stuff. I thought Lois, you know, she had an interesting story still, but it's slowly inching to a story because there's only 3 to 4 pages. Deathstroke with the Grifter is like whatever. Deathstroke wants Grifter. They're adding Deathstroke here. Okay. It doesn't really seem organic, but we'll see what happens. And then Firestorm had like 2 pages, so we didn't even get any development with him. And then Batman Beyond just seems so out of place. And Mr. Terrific, I don't care about at all. And Mr. Terrific finds Batman Beyond in the end of the issue, and the Misfits are about to attack Mr. Terrific, and then see what happens with Batman Beyond, and their friend gets killed, and they're just like, I don't think we're gonna do anything right now. Okay? Guys okay with that? Okay. Maybe they'll do something about it next issue. Yeah, like I said, once the story got interesting, it always ended. It wasn't in a way cliffhanger ending, it just kind of ended in the middle of the story. So I think that was a big problem with this issue, and I still thought it was better than what we've been getting. It's inching its way to become better. The stories are becoming a little bit more interesting, but they need to organize themselves. And also, just a little nitpick, I thought the art was a little bit better for last issue. It felt like there were lighter lines with this issue, but still good art. That was a little nitpick. Definitely the art is more consistent for Future's End than it is for Batman Eternal. Alright, so that was number 7? Yes, so number 6 is Silver Surfer, issue 3. Pretty good issue. I like this issue because we got to see some great character interaction between Dawn and Silver Surfer. Their relationship is growing. We're learning a little bit more about those characters, which we already know about Silver Surfer, but more of like their characters together. There's some good chuckle moments. I think Dan Slott's really funny with this book, like when Dawn is holding her breath, and Silver Surfer says, "This is the longest you haven't spoken. You can breathe. Don't worry." And it's like, "How the hell can I breathe?" It's like, "Oh, the cosmic power." Like, it is a little bit of a cop out. It's an excuse, but it's the cosmic power. You can breathe. It's like, okay, that's cool. So I thought that was fun. Again, I think something I liked about this issue definitely was the interaction. The story itself was okay, and I don't think really this issue is about the story itself. The story is about getting this animal, this monkey heart, back into the woman's body, this goddess-type woman's body. And they do it, and that's the end, and Silver Surfer wants to bring Dawn back to Earth, and we all know that's not going to happen, but we'll see what stops him. And what stops her. And I think it'll be very interesting to see some interaction with Dawn and her family with Silver Surfer. So I'm definitely interested with the next issue. So yeah, this is like a mediocre series. I feel like it never gets me excited. Like, oh my god, first thing to read. It's never in the end either. It's never like, oh, I can't, you know, Silver Surfer. It's definitely always that middle ground book that I'm excited to read, but never excited to read. So yeah, but this issue is pretty good. I like the interactions. I think Mike Allred's art's really good for the series. Again, it doesn't fit every character, but I think it fits Silver Surfer's character very well in the tone of this series. So I am going to give this 3.5 stars. I thought it was pretty good. Alright, so now we're up to number 5. Pretty sure. Yeah, number 5. Daredevil, issue 4. A little lower than I expected. This is, of course, great art for the series. Art's wonderful for this series, and it really gets you into the story. But the story itself was, it was okay. It wasn't bad. It was interesting. It was there. But it was definitely not on par of other Daredevil stories. Like Owl and, let me see his name, Owl and Coleridge, they were okay villains. Is Coleridge kind of wanted to commit suicide because of Julia. He wants Julia back, but he doesn't know where Julia is, and he wants to be killed by the supervillain. And this is what Matt's saying to him. And him and Matt make a deal saying, I'll help you find Julia. And he's like, you promise? And he's like, yeah. So that story's going to come back. Owl becomes more powerful with this machine, so that story's obviously going to come back. So it's just inching into probably future story arcs more than a finishing up of a current story arc. And there are characters that I feel like we didn't get enough background on to really care about. With Coleridge, if we got more on Julia herself, I think I would care a little bit more, but we never really got a memorable story about Julia, so I don't care about him and Julia. So I think that would have made a little bit more of an impact for this story, but it didn't really give us much because we didn't have any really background on Julia with this issue. And I don't think previous issues we have either. So I'm going to give it 3.5. I was a little disappointed with the story, but still, it's not a bad issue. It's just like for Daredevil, it was a little disappointing. Alright, so number 4 is Harley Quinn, issue 7. Yeah, this is Harley Quinn, and finally we're getting a conclusion of who is this hitman or this person who's putting money, this bounty on Harley Quinn. We find out it's Harley Quinn herself, which I thought was kind of funny. I'm like, alright, that makes sense. If we had to wait 7 issues, I like that was the twist of it. This is a comedy book more than anything. It's not supposed to be serious. So we get to see Poison Ivy's trying to help Harley for that, and there's still going to be assassins after her. But at least the bounty has stopped, and we'll see what happens with issues to come. But they say, hey, the story's still here. It's still hanging. We might see assassins every once in a while. So if we need a story, that'll come back. But for now, it's over. It's, the story has ended with the whole bounty thing. Now, I thought this was a very solid issue because the movements of Harley were really funny. I really like the art. There's some things that Harley does that's really hilarious. And I did chuckle a lot for Harley and, you know, Poison Ivy separately. But I never laughed because of their dynamic, and I think that was something that really disappointed me with this issue, was the dynamic between Ivy and Harley. I just don't think it was there. It's very sexualized, which is weird. And it feels off, honestly. Like, again, their friendship never felt that way, and they had a lot of sexualized references here. Again, maybe a different friendship, that'd be different. But between Harley and Ivy, I felt like it was missing something, and I feel like that was something they pushed a lot, and I never thought, yeah, they did that sometimes, but it was never that, like, prime thing of their relationship. So, it felt a little weird. I want to see their magic of their relationship again, because I'd never chuckled with them together. And that's something that felt missing with this issue. So, I'm going to give it 4 stars. I still thought it was a solid issue. Finally, we got an ending of this bounty. I felt satisfied, but there definitely was problems between Poison Ivy and Harley. Alright, so number 3 is Original Sin, issue 4. Cool issue. I really did like this issue. I thought what I liked the most about it was the paranoia feel. Who's telling the truth? Who's lying? What's going on with Winter Soldier? It's that guess of, is Winter Soldier a villain? And we find out he wasn't. We still don't know what he's doing with the eye. Like, why did he kidnap? Why does he have the eye? I don't know. Maybe just that way other people don't get it. I can't figure that out yet. But hopefully in the next issue we'll get an answer for that. And I'm sure we will. We find out Nick Fury is not actually dead. It's like everyone guessed, it was like his clone type thing. And he's old. Don't know why he's super old. I guess we'll find out. Maybe actually the years have caught up with him. We haven't seen that Nick Fury in a while, so that's probably why. But yeah, I had a fun time with it. I thought, again, the paranoia worked really well. I like that there's only a certain amount of characters here. There's not 20 characters saying one thing and it doesn't actually matter what Spider-Man's saying. I feel like it matters what Punisher is saying. It feels like it matters what Doctor Strange is saying because there's only like 6 characters here, and I think it works really well for the event. So I like the cliffhanger. It was a little bit predictable, and I still don't love the dark art, but I had a fun time with it. That was a really solid issue. So I'm going to give this 4 stars, and I am pleasantly surprised with Original Sin's last 2 issues, and hopefully it sticks this way. I'm hoping the last 4 issues don't have the Marvel curse of events where it just goes downhill. I'm really hoping this could change Marvel events. For the last couple of years, they've been really either bad or not great. Alright, so number 2 is Nova, issue 18. A very under the radar series I think you guys should be reading if you're not reading right now. thought this was a really good tie-in because it explains how Nova felt of the Watcher's death. He just had all this adrenaline going back to Earth, trying to find out who killed the Watcher, and when it came to get to the killer, which really probably wasn't the killer, he didn't do anything. He just stood there while other heroes did stuff, and he just felt sad. I loved how he went through his mourning process. I thought it was really good. We also got some of his family stuff here, which I always enjoy. I always like some sprinkles of his family because I think that's the strongest part of the series. But yeah, his reaction to the death was really good. You also get a good cliffhanger and a good start to the actual story, which is his original sin with his father actually not being a good person. He always saw his father as a hero, or at least he always told stories of his father being a hero. And then, you know, he always thought they were fake until he became Nova and he really looked up to his father. And now he realizes it was all a lie, which is an interesting spin. So I really liked that part of the story, and I thought it was a really good setup for that. So a really solid issue. I'm going to give it 4 stars. Good art, solid stuff here. It's definitely, so far, the best tie-in I've read for Original Sin. But that's not really saying much, because I haven't read many tie-ins, and also Original Sins is bad. So, really good issue for this, though. I really recommend Nova if you're not reading it yet. Alright. Let's go number 1, which is Elektra, issue 3. Yeah, you guys might be surprised. You know, I think Elektra is definitely an acquired taste type book. I don't think everyone's going to like it. And I was surprised I was going to like it because it's a very abstract book. The art's kind of out there, the writing's kind of out there, but it works really well. I thought it meshed well for this issue. Because narration for this issue was great. I loved where Elektra was describing herself underwater, like how it felt as a child to be in the water and how she felt safe, and it healed her bruises as she trained. And the narration just fits really well with Elektra's character, and even though it's very artistic, as you can see, it's very kind of out there, the art, but it fits because usually with these type of stories it'd be very out there, you don't really know what the core story is about. But I don't think the series ever loses focus of what the core story is about, because the core story is about Elektra trying to find the Cape Claw, I think his name is, but this villain, Cape Crow, this villain who has run away and the Sun's looking for him, and she's going to try to find, help the Sun because she's getting good money for it. And this other guy's trying to kill Elektra and this Cape Crow person because he's a carnivore and he wants these memories, the depth of these characters or these people. So that's the core story, and I don't think it's ever missing. You get that as you read it, but then there's the creativity of, you know, going underwater like this. You know, the art for the series really works for Elektra. And again, the narration just wants you to sink your teeth into the story. It works so well, and I like the direction they're going with Elektra. So I was pleasantly surprised with this issue. I'm going to give this 4.5 stars. Really liked it, and this was the best issue I read. I thought it was really a lot of fun, and again, it surprised me, and I want to really highlight this series. So I'm going to give this 4.5 stars. Really enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed. This is Comic Uno. Guys, don't forget to follow me on Twitter for Comic Uno and Rand Situations, and don't forget to like my Facebook page, and in the comments below, please leave your best pick of the week, worst pick of the week. Just talk about the comics I talked about, the comics you read. Hope you guys enjoyed. This is Comic Frontline and Comic Uno, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.